Gears here to the NFL. I think we're starting to get to that point of the season where teams are looking at 2024. Should they continue to lose one or two more games, pretty much puts them out of the running. So we'll do a little double dip episode and look at the teams that have a good quarterback, but will potentially need to go into the draft again next year to find a quarterback. So Corey, back to you. I ask you, do the New England Patriots, with Mac Jones currently at quarterback, need to consider drafting a quarterback next year?
So this is the tricky one for me. I'm gonna say yes. You always consider, if you don't have a maybe top 10, but certainly like a top 7 quarterback, you consider it. You at least look at it. If you see somebody that you think has talent and they fall, and it's a steal of a pick, if it's a value pick and you don't have a pressing concern, which of course, Patriots have pressing concerns. If you see a guy fall that that's a star, you might consider it. Mac Jones hasn't blown my doors off by any stretch of the imagination at any point in his career. He's had flashes and he's looked good. He had that one, I believe, a Pro Bowl year. But you consider it. I don't think that you go out and you spend a top 10 pick or a top 15 pick, maybe even on a quarterback. But if somebody falls out of that and you're looking, and you can trade back and pick up a quarterback and a position you need, yeah, you look at it for sure.
Yeah. I think the Patriots are going to be hot in the market, right, for either a top tier pick and or trading for a quarterback. Danny, your thoughts on New England? Do they need to draft a quarterback next year?
Absolutely. They need to draft a quarterback. Like Corey said, if you don't have a top 10, probably top 7 quarterback, you need to draft one every single year until you do have that answer at quarterback. The question is, for Patriots fans, do they want Bill Belichick and company to be the one to, guide the new quarterback, or do they want a new regime? I obviously he has the resume, but is he kind of past his peak? A lot of things point towards that being the case. We'll see.
Yeah, definitely. All arrows are pointing right now, both at Bill Belichick and Mac Jones. That situation kind of reminds me of the Jets with Sam Darnold. Spent a high draft pick. You don't want to and really kind of to a lesser extent, right? Chicago Bears and Justin Fields. But you don't want to really move off a high draft pick, but at some point you've got to look to the future. So going down the list, let's take a look at the New York Giants. Just signed Danny Dimes to a big deal. Does it look like that deal is paying off? Danny, back to you. Too early to hit the panic button for the Giants, so they have to go back to the draft?
Yeah, oh yeah. I think we've been saying that since he was drafted, since he started at quarterback for the New York Giants. I think this entire podcast just been saying he is not the answer. I know they made the playoffs last year, and I know they keep trying to force the issue, but he's just not it. He's okay at best, but he's not going to win you. I think if you give the truth serum to everybody in New York, including the coaching staff, they would tell you that he is not going to lead them to a Super Bowl one day. It is time to draft another quarterback. Especially, I do like the coach that they have. I like the coaching staff there. I just don't think Daniel Jones is the pick.
Yeah, I'll let Corey respond first. Corey, your thoughts? Do the Giants double dip and draft a quarterback next year?
Unequivocally, yes. It's such an obvious move, and you have to. I know they just handed him the bag, which I know we talked about when they did it. We could not believe that they were just handing this man the keys to their entire trust fund, their bank vault, everything, their 401ks. But it was insanity to me. That was betting the house on a mid hand. It was insane. I couldn't believe it. Certainly a good backup quarterback, even a decent get you through. But to me, he's like a better runner than Jacoby Brissett, but a similar passer. Like I'm seeing backup written all over. Solid backup, of course. And he's never going to be the worst quarterback in the NFL, but he is certainly not a top 10 guy, never going to be a top 7 guy. And he could easily spend an entire career outside the top 15. And that is not going to win you a Super Bowl in 2023, 2024, 2050. I don't care. It's not happening. That's the most important position in the NFL on the roster. it's arguably more important than the head coach at times. Maybe all the time even. It's insanity to not go draft a quarterback unless you hit the trade market and find gold, which they're not going to.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you guys. I think for me, my comp is Ryan Tannehill. Even at the height of the Tennessee Titans, you never thought, like, Derrick Henry was going to do Derrick Henry things, but you're never scared of Ryan Tannehill beating you, right? Like, you just never
No.
thought that those teams
No.
were going to play from behind, come back and win a game that they weren't supposed to, right? The only time they ever would win a game was playing out front, run the ball, Derrick Henry, everything goes right, and they're a one win playoff team, maybe two at best, but you never feel threatened by that. So that's kind of my comp for Daniel Jones. Moving
Yeah,
down the
Derrick Henry had
list.
to have 130 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Moving down the list, we just saw last night Las Vegas lose to the Lions. They've been having a pretty abysmal season. Just after signing Jimmy Garoppolo to a new contract, do the Raiders need to double dip and draft another quarterback? Corey, back over to you.
I've been saying it from the jump. Jimmy G is going to get his bag and go into modeling. He is not the answer. He's never been the answer. Another solid backup guy. He might get you through some tough games if your quarterback's banged up. If you got a bye week, you'll get through. Don't worry about it. But he is not the answer. You're gonna have to double dip. You're gonna have to draft somebody. You have to draft somebody now because Tay wants out. Josh Jacobs ain't gonna want to stay. I wouldn't want to stay. The coach needs to go. The owner needs a new haircut. There's all kinds of problems up and down. The only thing they got going for them is that stadium. Like they got problems, and it's got to start with a new quarterback and probably a new head coach.
Yeah, Josh
And
McDaniels just doesn't seem like the answer either. Danny, over to you. Do the Raiders need to double dip and draft a quarterback next year?
Oh yeah, definitely. They definitely need to. But again, it's the same conversation with the Patriots. Do you want the not only current regime, but do you want that owner being there when the new quarterback is drafted and build your team around those people? I don't think so. I wouldn't. I mean, like Corey said, they got a great stadium and a great spot, one of the best places to have a stadium in the world. Outside of that, there's really nothing to root for.
Yeah, it's been a pretty sad season for the Las Vegas Raiders, as Corey said. Devontae looking to go on the move. I mean, who Day might be calling? Who knows? I mean, what a lineup. Jamar Chase and Devontae Adams, that would be something special. And it's an arms race now. You look at what the 49ers just did in signing Chase Young, or excuse me, trading for Chase Young. It's going to be an arms race down the stretch here. So somebody's going to have to go get Devontae Adams. Final team of the day, guys. Question for double dipping. The Pittsburgh Steelers are hanging in there, but that just seems like what Mike Tomlin teams do. So well coached. I really wish he would get another generational quarterback because he, to me, Mike Tomlin is really a difference maker. I'm not so sure Kenny Pickett's that guy. Corey, do the Steelers need to draft another quarterback in 2024?
So this one, I thought I had my mind made up on it. I've been kind of thinking about this whole segment, honestly, and I'm a little less sure. I was originally going to say yes, absolutely they do, but I don't know, man. Kenny Pickett, every once in a while, he does something where I'm just like, ooh, okay, wait a minute, what do we have here? Other times he'll do something where it's like, no, there he is, he's back. Okay. So I think he's athletic. I think he's got a decent head on his shoulders. He's got some arm talent, nothing eye popping, nothing crazy. He's certainly no Big Ben, but he's really young. He's got potential. I think you don't go spending a first round on a quarterback this year. I don't think that even if they get, a star quarterback this year, I don't think that they have Super Bowl hopes. I don't think that they could reasonably think they're going to win it all. Maybe take a playoff push and all of that, but maybe a second round, I could see you draft a quarterback, like early second even. But this one, I'm a little more iffy on than a lot of these others. I think he's shown some flashes, so could go either way. I wouldn't, if I were a Steelers fan, I wouldn't be mad if they didn't. Wouldn't be mad if they did.
Yeah, I think I probably agree towards the end there. Just take a flyer in the third or fourth round on somebody. Danny, over to you. Do the Steelers need to draft a quarterback 2024?
I think they do. I really do. Kenny Pickett, again, truth serum. I don't think he wins you a Super Bowl ever in his time in Pittsburgh. I really believe in Mike Tomlin there and the coaching staff. I think the infrastructure is one of the best in the NFL, if not the best now in the NFL, to try to raise a quarterback there and just give them the stability that they need. So I have a lot of confidence in Mike Tomlin to develop the quarterback if he is the right one. I because the draft class is just so deep, I just think that you can't miss on anybody this class by like not drafting them. So you need to draft somebody at least, get them in the system. I guess if you want to wait till the third or fourth round, sure. But I just don't know. I don't know if you're going to be finding the best quality down there. So I think they should try to draft someone within the first two rounds, just because I don't think him or Trubisky are the future of that quarterback position in Pittsburgh.
That's a fair point. It is a deep quarterback class too. There are a lot of potential quarterbacks coming out in this draft. I wonder who would be the best fit for Pittsburgh.
That's a
Yeah,
good question. I don't
I
there,
know
think
who they need.
Shadur would be a good.
You think he might be too early for him?
It might be a year early. I'm just thinking fit wise, the way they play, the way they like to. He's a tough kid. He's got a lot of talent. He's definitely smart. I could see that working out well. Sorry, total tangent there, but it occurred to me that would be an
Let's keep
interesting
him at
match.
Colorado. I like Colorado and Coach Prime just turning that thing around and just being the talk of college football still.
They can't even hold on to their jewelry apparently, which is wild that that happened. I
No,
couldn't believe
I
it.
guess not.
yeah, it's gonna be a very, very intriguing 2024 draft, like you guys said. Very deep at the quarterback position. So I expect a lot of movement pre-draft, 1 to 2 weeks before the draft when everybody's finally got their guy. Could be some big moves up to the top of the draft